During the evening, I was getting calls from city management saying, uh-oh, we're gonna have a problem. And finally, we had a huge problem where this 26 inches of rain fell in 5 hours of time. And it was phenomenal. I don't think anywhere in the country had this ever happened before. So we had a problem on our hands.
In April of 2023, the city of Fort Lauderdale experienced a catastrophic flood. We received over 20 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. And during that flood, many properties throughout the city were damaged, including our very own city hall.
Aging infrastructure that it had in place and the lack of funding that was put into it at that point in time really had an effect on the system. The system wasn't designed to handle the kind of rainfall that had happened on that fateful day in April.
So the city of Fort Lauderdale had already done studies years before in terms of trying to figure out where our greatest need for stormwater infrastructure needed to be built. These were called adaptation action areas, and we had studied that, and we had identified certain neighborhoods. We just never implemented them. And so once this rainfall episode occurred, we realized we needed to fast forward the projects. Climate change is impacting Fort Lauderdale in many different ways, not just rainfall, but also rising sea levels. Rising sea levels are impacting our entire communities because we are a flat, low-lying community. Most of Florida is that way. So we're trying to harden our systems. We still are moving forward with our very, very proactive effort. We call it Fortify Lauderdale, and we're going from neighborhood to neighborhood. We've got 15 neighborhoods now identified, and we're moving aggressively so that within the next 10 years, we'll have spent over $1 billion, and we're gonna make sure that Fort Lauderdale has infrastructure that's sustainable and resilient and able to secure and maintain the growth that we're now enjoying.
One of the features of it is there's going to be a lot of new stormwater pump stations that are going to be strategically placed throughout the communities that are most needed and effective. And those stations will allow all of the water that tends to flood communities to flow in a much better way so it will not flood the streets as we previously have seen over the years. It may not be perfect because obviously whenever you're in a coastal community, you're always going to have challenges. We do have king tides, we do have hurricanes that we've potentially faced, but the biggest thing is when you make an investment in infrastructure and you put the money in and you show everybody in the community that the city really cares and the amount of investment, literally over $1 billion in projects, it's so significant.
The city of Fort Lauderdale chose the P3 or public-private partnership process for the Prospect Lake Clean Water Center, primarily for a few key reasons. One was we knew as a city we needed an upgraded water treatment plant. Our former water treatment plant was aging, and we knew at some point there was a need to replace that facility. With the P3 process, we're able to look at multiple types of proposals, different strategies for providing clean, quality water to our citizens, and do so in an expedited fashion.
We use nanofiltration technology in parallel with ion exchange vessels to ensure that we're going to meet the city's goals of clean, clear, and colorless water, all while having the ability to handle the emerging contaminants such as PFAS.
The new Prospect Lake water treatment plant has a capacity of 50 MGD. The current city-wide usage is just over 40 MGD. So that gives us capacity to meet our current needs and our future needs for the next 50 years.
We're rewriting the textbook on this project. And I'll give you an example. We not only partnered with the city to provide the financing for the facility, but we're also partnering with the city to provide the labor resources for operating the plant from existing city employees. So that sets this project apart from many other P3s in the country, where we're using the city's current employees to operate the facility.
This has truly been a real pleasure for the entire team. All the stakeholders worked incredibly well together. Working with the city of Fort Lauderdale, they were an amazing partner, and I hope this actually becomes a benchmark for all other partnerships across the US.
The message that I have to my fellow mayors is don't wait. You have to get these projects done. Sometimes they're not politically beneficial. We really have a responsibility as public officials to make sure that we educate the public, making sure they understand the need and the dangers for not acting. We don't want to see that anywhere in Fort Lauderdale or anywhere in the country. So it's an imperative upon all public leaders to make sure that they do not endanger the lives or the safety or the welfare of their community. And the only way to do that is to commit to building infrastructure.
I think the City Commission has done a tremendous job of putting forth initiatives like this, whether it's in our stormwater program, whether it's in our bond program for streets and sidewalks. It is a tremendous investment that's for the future of all of the residents of Fort Lauderdale. When you put that kind of money and you make that kind of investment, you're showing a commitment to residents that you care long term and you want this community to be safe, you want it to have clean streets, and you want it to have no flooding.